So I'm Peter. I'm 44, 44 years. I'm living in Bavaria, nearby Munich. I started getting into the digital business probably 10 years ago. So I started as a digital marketing manager, a content manager, search engine optimization manager, and I would say during the years, I found out that developers didn't deliver me the results I need to work on my tasks as a digital marketing manager. So I decided to learn coding by myself. And started in a company which was an international company. So the international scope was there. It was really interesting with working with several search engines. And I was lucky to meet a developer who was then a freelancer for us. And he, guided me through the world of a developer. And I found it really interesting. And then my focus, my scope of work focus shifted from the digital marketing to the web developing. And then I did both. So it was really nice for the company. They saved a position on salary, but for me it was not enough to be, I would say, between the worlds. I want to focus on the developing side. And my mentor, I call him my mentor, he helped me a lot in this area, and I was really pushing him to educate myself. And then Corona came. And Corona was a situation for me that in 2020 that I asked my employer, is it possible that I can have an additional education during the COVID situation? Of course, he said, fine for me. If it's not with costs involved for us, you can do it. So I checked out some sources, and then WBS came on my page. And I found it really lean, everything. It was really good structured, well structured, nice people I had a call with. And and then I decided to go for the full stack developer in October 2020. I was in the batch, and yeah, this was my way to the boot camp. Yeah, it is as with every education stuff. What is the result after that is my biggest concern. So is this something which I only learn in a boot camp or in extra education, or is it something which is taken from any YouTube video and then it puts in a nice face and then and that's it. And this was a big concern because a lot of the resources are online or online. I learned by myself with my mentor as a backup to ask questions, but the majority I did with Udemy YouTube videos. This was a concern, a big concern, yeah, at the beginning. I was employed at that time, so I have a different situation as the others, maybe students which are not employed at the time. So I was employed. I was on Kurzarbeit, it called. So my situation was I could transfer everything which I learned during the boot camp in my work immediately. After the boot camp, I did some work for my company as well. So I had the chance to learn at the day and try it out later the day. So on real projects with asking my mentor. So this was my situation during and after the boot camp. So I transferred myself immediately in the job. I was lucky to start the big project for the company in March, so immediately after the bootcamp finally. So everything was fresh, and I could put my value of the bootcamp in the project. And of course, if you have people around who help you, it's much easier. I would start with the lowest because the lowest moment was in the first phase. I would say the first 4 weeks, which is fully packed with stuff. Some things were repeating of old stuff, which I knew already, HTML, CSS, for instance. the new stuff, which was Git, JavaScript, from the core, everything, it was really overwhelming. So I was, can I say, brain fucked? It was really horrible. I was tired. I didn't know if it's the right way, it's the right path. It was really abstract for me. But it took me 6 weeks to transfer my synapses in my brain to think different. And this is something which was for me the go situation. Okay, I need to be in there because it's my stuff. But the beginning was really hard. The beginning was really hard to follow. Then I had an English course. I'm a German native. I had an English course, and my teacher, he was really nice. He explained everything in detail, but sometimes you didn't understand by words what he means by the expression. And this was something I had to follow up a little bit harder, read something afterwards to get it in my brain and all this stuff. So, but after 6 weeks, I was in it. I was in it, and I was focused, and that's it. Yeah. Best part was exactly the way that I transferred myself. To get in the bootcamp, from the WBS staff at all. So supportive stuff. This is something which I really highly recommend to point out as my biggest surprise, I would say, because everything was online. So it's not even the campus phase was live. It was everything online because Corona closed the campus at all. And the communication and the responsiveness and all this, how to engage with the people, which is really outstanding. A lot of companies can take some of the cases which you do on WBS for their company, because it's really, really nice and it's good. And you feel welcome and you feel kept right. It made me a developer thinker, developing guy. My wife said she didn't expect that at all, because I came from sales and then from digital marketing, which was more communicative stuff. And then now I'm handling some functions and all this crazy tools and technology and bug fixing, and it changed my personality. Or no, it enabled my personality, which I had by nature, but I ignored it at the beginning. I was thinking back at the time, as I was 8 or 9 years. I had a Schneider computer, which was really one of the I don't know, business computers, and I had a big book and I wrote code. But at the time, I'm 44, so at the time IT was not a good job. It was not a serious job. You had to be a sales manager or something like that. It was not a serious job. And I was not thinking about it to be in an IT sector. Yeah, with the bootcamp, everything made for me, for my purpose as a worker, made more sense, and it enabled a lot of stuff in me, and made me yeah, it enabled my developer nature in me, and yeah, this was the thing. But it needs to be a boot camp. Finally, it has to be a boot camp, because doing it on part-time, it's not the same thing. It needs to be a boot camp. We had one person in our batch. He was an ex-Navy SEAL, and he said in boot camps, the easy day was yesterday. And this is something which was my mantra every day. And we worked along that mantra, and it was really the case. It needs to change your mindset at all. So if you have a website and you tick on a button and the button do something, and this is the user perspective. This is the something which you say, okay, I can work on a platform, I can work on a website, I can work on an app, I can work on it because I'm a client. I can use it because I understand how it works on the CLI, on the interface. But thinking as a developer is exactly the step more in the depth, to say, okay, if I tick on the button, there has to be some of the things happening that the user can have the result. And And you can take it as a simple example. If you tick on a button and there is an alert coming. So for a developer, you need to think, okay, there are not only one step, there are 3 steps maybe you have to go through, because then the result happens. And this mindset is something which you have to shift at all, because I came from the digital marketing, everything what it comes to communication. I know how user interface has to look like, how the communication, if a button has to be clicked, what information has to be printed out, because the user keeps himself really organized and guided to the application. But as a developer, you need to think really more in both areas, but especially when I tick on something, there has to be a result, and the result has maybe 4 or 5 steps between before it prints out the result. And this is something which I mean with thinking as a developer, the developer thinking. Why didn't you start earlier going to the IT area? I'm missing a little bit the studying of IT. I had the chance, but I ignored it. I went to sports, but I should take the other path. But finally, I'm there where I am, and I'm fine with that.